expect the reaction after they have announced whoever is going to be their flag bearer. So I can't prophesize that there might be a chaos or what, because they are leaders. They know whatever is good and whatever is bad. So whatever they will pronounce, we will take it to be.
So you just said that if the leaders have chosen, that the people will agree. However, for you, as someone who has supported, and I assume you said that you've supported ODM, do you believe, or what do you support? Why do you support this party? Why do you feel that this is the party or the coalition that will win August 8th?
Fine. See, there are guys that have an experience in life and in politics of Kenya. Raila is somebody who has an experience in politics of Kenya, and actually you've seen how he has fought for democracy. And also Kalonzo is somebody who has been in government since, so they know how to build up the economy of the country. They know whatever wananchi wants, actually. So we expect good result from them, guys. They will perform, I know. They have friends from different countries who can at least plunge in the economy to grow up. So that is my expectation, actually.
So you said that you will expect a NASA government to perform. What do you expect them to do if they do come into power?
To find fast employment for youths. As you have seen, youths in Nairobi, employment is a no-go zone. Second, infrastructure, networking, equality among the people or amongst the tribes in Kenya, distribution of equal resources to everybody, be it up country or in Nairobi.
Thank you, Oscar. That was Oscar Ouma. He's attending the rally. And of course, he has his own expectations of who the flag bearer will be. We have to wait for a few more hours. It is officially supposed to kick off at 2 p.m. this afternoon. We are waiting more party officials and, of course, the five principals to make their way in. There's still a lot of deliberations going on behind the scenes before they come to Uhuru Park. There are expectations for at least 1 million people. That is according to the organizers of the event. Several dignitaries from across the region, Africa, and the world, they say. So we're waiting to see what this announcement will mean for the August 8th election. Back over to you in studio.
Well, thanks, Vicky. That's Victoria Rubadiri speaking to us live from Uhuru Park, where it's expected, like she says, NASA will make their major announcement. Let's cross over to Muranga, where Kennedy Muredi is standing by with the latest. Ken?
Well, Trevor and Gladys, it has been hours of waiting here at Muranga Teachers College, whereby we are still waiting for this room and for some of the officers who are from the party to come here and maybe start disseminating news of who has won and who has lost in the 7 constituencies that make up Muranga County. As of now, there is no word that is coming, but we do understand that information is still at the county still at the constituency levels, where some of the returning officers are being called so that as they come here and they can announce the results. The county returning officer is giving us probably in 2 hours this process should have started, but we have him here. We want to make sure that we have the right results and he can tell us the way forward. Now, sir, what is your name and why are we delayed this much?
Okay. My name is Francis Mohoho. There's no delay, as I would say. I think what is happening is that the ROs at the constituency levels, they want to have very accurate results, such that there will be no dispute. You know, we conducted free, fair nominations yesterday, and we would like to continue with the same spirit. That's why they start. We can say it's a delay, but it's not a delay.
Are you getting any reports from the returning officers of any malpractices or any hitches that they have encountered since they started counting until this particular moment?
Not at all. I've not gotten any report concerning any hitch. And if there is any hitch, we are going to act upon it.
Right now, we've just gotten, a few minutes ago, we've gotten reports that at a place called Gakoigo, some ballot papers have been found marked. Have you heard of such a claim, and what are you doing about it?
Have not gotten those news. I think I'm hearing it for the first time from you. And if such thing has been reported to our office, action will be taken, investigations will be carried out, and definitely a decision will have to be made.
If investigations are done, is it such a serious matter that would warrant maybe a repeat of any of the elections?
It will depend on the outcome of the investigations. Yeah.
Now, what time or in how long do we expect maybe we can get the full results and everybody who has participated in these elections can get the official results?
We are expecting the first constituency to be reporting here any time from now. That's Kagema. And I don't want to give a definitive time when the final result will be announced, because you know some constituencies like Haru, they are quite big. And when you look at the voter turnout, it was almost 80% voter turnout in this county. So we may not. That's even one of the reasons why you have a delay in the transmission of the results. But I believe that at the end of the day, before the close of the business today, we should be having all the results for the counties.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Now, those are some of the things that they are waiting for, and they're saying that some of the earliest results, we could be getting them in a few, but also we have been getting some provisional results of ourselves, and we do understand, and this is provisional, Gladys and Trevor, is that the incumbent governor, that is Mwangi wa Iria, is in the lead, and Jamlek is trailing him. And also the case that we have asked the county returning officer about some papers that have been found at a place called Koigo, is that we do understand that those papers were marked Jamlek Kamau, and right now some of his people and also officers are heading to Maragua police station, where they do want to go and establish what is the way forward. We had also gotten information that he might give the way forward from that particular point if he will go there himself. We also do understand that the county women representative, that is Sabina Chege, is also in the lead, and the other two who are running against her for the ticket from Jubilee, she is ahead of them. But as of now, we also do understand that in Mathioya, these are just provisional, is that the incumbent member of parliament, that is Clement Wambogo, has been flawed in that process. Also, we do understand that in Kandara, the incumbent Alice Wahome may have carried the day in that constituency. So these are just provisional results that we are getting from people, but the final tally on who has won and who has lost is going to come from the county returning officer, whom they do expect that maybe in the next 2 hours, results will start trickling in here, and maybe by the end of the day, they will have known who has lost and who has won in this contest. But as of now, Trevor, we want to rush to that particular point so that we can also see whether we can get what is happening, and maybe also talk to the police so that they can tell us how far the investigations are going and how they will be carrying out these investigations. Trevor and Gladys.
Thank you, Kennedy Murithi, speaking to us from Murang'a County, where he is indicating the provincial results, actually indicating Governor Mwangi wa Iria is leading as for now, and Kigumo MP Jamlek Kamau is trailing. But of course, the official results coming to you as and when we receive them. A lot of results also coming through from many of the other counties that held the Jubilee primaries yesterday, and those, especially in Nairobi, are being tallied at the Nyayo Stadium, and we have Leila Mohammed there. She will be giving us also the latest as it comes from there. Now it is the 27th day of April, a big day for NASA, as we expect that big announcement. Trevor, a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely. We have so much to talk about today, but we're going to make this very clear. Let's first introduce our panelists with us. Professor Macharia Munene, analyst and expert in international relations. Then we have Joseph Sibmeha, political analyst. Of course, he's been here before. And we have Franklin Mukwanja, who's a political analyst and also a communication specialist. Thanks for making time, gentlemen. Let's just get straight into it. What do you expect today, Sibmeha, from the NASA's announcement? Because I know you've been here before when we expected them to announce it, they did not. So finally they were supposed to announce today.
No, if you remember that day I completely differed, that I wasn't expecting any announcement on the flag bearer. I said They've just told us that there'll be a big announcement. We don't know which announcement. Yeah. But this one, they made a specific promise that they will actually announce their lineup. So I would say that I don't want to expect anything other than to hold them against their word, their own word, that we expect them to announce their lineup.
Okay.
Yes.
Professor Mashari?
Well, they said they will announce,
yeah.
But that would not be news.
Would there be any surprises for you?
Well, the only news would be
yeah.
if they say that Raila is not the candidate. That would be news. Anything else is routine.
Okay.
I think the mere fact that NASA has remained bold enough to stick to this date is quite interesting. Nevertheless, I think it's also quite tactical, perhaps to be used as a strategy to, just make sure that people are not focusing on the troubles that they're having in their strongholds. We have in Wiper strongholds results delaying and quite a lot of complaints on the credibility of the outcomes. We have challenges in Raila's strongholds. We have not had a lot about for the Kenya primaries, but I think that would relieve them some pressure on the primary so that they can focus at least on a new subject of a candidate. But for me, I may partly agree with Prof that if the ticket remains what is being rumored of Kalonzo, Raila Odinga being the flag bearer and Kalonzo Musyoka the running mate, then that's no news. It was much expected. I have spoken before, and I want to emphasize that the ticket would not have gone without Kalonzo, and Kalonzo would only have, settled for the running mate slot. Because in my estimate, the challenge was, do they go with the popular candidate in Raila Odinga, or the largest ethnic grouping? Our politics is oriented along ethnic blocks. Or do we go with the largest ethnic grouping in NASA, which was Musalia Mudavadi and the Luya, backed by Wetangula? So not entirely news.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into who will be going with who, the best pairing and what have you, let's talk about, as we were talking about, the issues at hand. We have a lot going on in the primaries. One of them that's sticking out like a sore thumb is that of the Bondo MP. And they say Uhuru Odinga was given this, and this is against what they thought Gideon Ochanda would be walking away with. In as far as those issues within ODM are concerned and other parties dealing with their own issues, how are those going to reflect on today's announcement and going forward as a coalition? Semeher?
They may not reflect on today's announcement, but they will certainly reflect on the outcome of the next elections. And these parties, but now we're talking about ODM in the case that you've just mentioned of Bondo, have had this, it's been like a perennial problem, which is, I wish I could find a stronger word, but which is very disappointing. Let me just politely say that. Extremely disappointing, actually almost disgusting, that certain people can, at least on the face value, win a ticket and you give it to someone else. It is completely unacceptable, and people in that part of the country have many times, especially in the last elections actually, shown some kind of protest at parliamentary MCA level. When actually even governor level, if you remember, of course, Obado was elected on a different party. People have been able to show their disaffection. They've been able to send signals to their leaders that do not impose anything on us. We love you, we support you, but let it be our decision. Now, the party and the party leader, I have no idea who has done this, whether it's him or his people in the leadership, but anyhow, the ultimate responsibility is his, the buck stops with him as a party leader. They may just be pushing it too far because there are limits to patience. In the past, it may have been that he's able to persuade them that, okay, see whatever decisions you make at local level, but let support remain at the presidential level remain mine. He may be pushing it too far. They may reach a point when you've seen places where people shout that if it's not this person, Uhuru Kenyatta tena. I mean, there have been demonstrations where they've made those noises. You never know. They could actually follow what they are saying with action come the next elections because of disgust that they've kept sending signals to their leaders that leave it to us to make these decisions. don't take our support for granted. We support you, we love you, but don't take this for granted. So they may be pushing it too far. It may reflect at the next elections. It's not just in Luo Nyanza, it happens in all these other places. I have seen one very peculiar one in Jubilee, I think in a constituency called Tarbo, where a leading candidate is basically told that you are not Kalenjin. I think it's a Luya guy, yes, he's told you're not Kalenjin. So, you know, they withdraw his certificate. As simple as that, and as open as that, as candid as that. The other 6 or so candidates complained that, you know, he's not Kalenjin, therefore he should not be the winner, you know. Ridiculous, isn't it? But so if, for example, Jubilee leaders support that kind of thing and issue this certificate to someone else, I hope the voters in Tarbo can also send a message to these leaders that we will not take that kind of thing, even when we love you and we support you. Yeah.
Professor Macharia, let me reel you in on this one. We've seen, as Simeha is mentioning, Nicholas Gumbo, Jacoyo Midio coming out and saying, yes, we love this party, but we will not stand for this. And the idea here was that ODM looked like it had its house in order, but that is being put to question. Going into this coalition, what does that mean?
Well, the ODM has been under serious questioning for some time. It has just not come out so openly. But there is a movement underground which has eroded the power and the influence of the party leaders or the owners of the party. They no longer can say, I want this and it is done. So you have this, and what we have seen in these primaries is just virtual rebellion against the leadership. Now, the fiasco that we've witnessed, most glaringly in ODM, in terms of shambolism, if there's such a word, does not reflect well on the party. It does not reflect well on the events that are supposed to take place today, because a lot of people have been disillusioned. The effect of that is that they might withdraw their support, or maybe even shift the support to some other quarters. So it has not been very good, this exercise in primary voting, because it has exposed the leaders. I don't want to say the party, because there are no parties.
Okay, Prof, hold that thought for just a bit. Hold that thought for just a bit. So let's cross over to Jamhuri Primary School, where Sharon Baranga is live there with the latest update. Sharon, what's the latest from there?
Okay. Now, Jamhuri High School is the official tallying center of Starehe constituency. And earlier on, we spoke to some of the agents who say that they were here as early as 3 a.m. just to oversee and supervise how the whole process is going on. Outside, we spotted Maina Commander, the incumbent member of parliament of this constituency. But he said that he's going to brief the media immediately the results are announced. But right now, we have not been updated on the results, because from behind what you can see are the agents of a number of political aspirants eyeing to run on the Jubilee ticket for different seats in this constituency. Now, these are the agents who have been here from 3 a.m. just to oversee how the whole process is going on. And just behind the agents, we have a 10-member team that is compiling all the results of the polling stations from around this county, and so far they've only announced one member of county assembly. Now I'm being joined by one of the agents who has been here from very early. Karibu sana. Unaweza jitambulisha, tueleze majina yako alafu tutaweza.
Kwa majina naitwa Christine Wanjiro kutoka South B Ward, Starehe constituency. Mimi ni mmoja wa agent, na kuanzia jana saa ile tulianza asubuhi kuingia kwa kituo tulifungua 5:30 na tukaanza kuvote. Vile tulianza kuvote tukamaliza tu sawa, hakuna shida yoyote ilitokea huko.
Na kwa sasa mnatarajia yapi kutoka katika kituo hiki?
Saa hii tunatarajia mbunge wangu ule nilikuwa nasimamia, na mtarajia awe msidi, Maina Commander.
Na labda unaweza tueleza mipangilio ilikuwaje?
mipangilio ya kutoka huko South B kukuja huku. Tulikujia na gari ya serikali na kukakuwa na ofisio kadhaa na polisi wakatubebea hizo saduku. From there tukaenda Radimawe, tukabeba zingine saduku huko, alafu tukazilete hapa na Jamhuri. Kufika hapa tulifika saa 9. Tukatoa masaduku, tukaigiza pahali ilikuwa inawekwa kwa class moja.
Na kwa sasa mnatarajia matokeo wakati wowote kutoka sasa?
Kutoka saa hii tunatarajia matokeo yoyote na ninaona tuko salama. Hakuna shida yote inaweza tokea. Ni watu wa chama moja. Yeah.
Asante sana. That has been one of the agents of one of the aspirants of Member of Parliament from Starehe constituency. We are going to be here to update you more on what will be happening from this official tallying center of this constituency. Back to you, Gladys.
Aaron Baranga speaking to us from Jamhuri High School in Starehe constituency. Now, as we said earlier, it's a big day for NASA. We are awaiting that big announcement as to who will be the presidential flag bearer for the coalition. And we have Victoria Rubadiri on the ground. That is Uhuru Park, where the announcement will be made. Victoria has the latest.
That's right. You can feel the anticipation that is rising among the crowd that is slowly growing. There are quite a few people here who are waiting to see who the flag bearer will be for the NASA coalition. The principals have not yet arrived, but some party members are already here. We understand that they were told to be seated at least by 10, and by 11 things will begin to kick off in terms of speeches from the various party officials, party members who are present. They're expecting at least 1 million people. That is according to the event organizers. Several people have traveled from across Kenya to Uhuru Park and across the region, Africa as well. They're expecting dignitaries from across the continent and around the world as well. That's what I heard from the organizers. So a lot of anticipation from the people who are here. Names have been floated around in terms of who the flag bearer will be. There's been speculation, of course, in various corners of the media. But joining me now is Farah Malim, and he has been also very instrumental in getting this coalition together. He's the former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. You can join me here, Meshimiwa. Now, there's a lot of anticipation behind this announcement of the flag bearer. Who can we expect? I know you can't let the cat out of the bag as much, but who can we expect in terms of the possible flag bearer for NASA?
The flag bearer for NASA will be unveiled today, and nobody except one person will give you that answer now. You can't get the answer from me or from anybody else. It's going to be unveiled for all Kenyans at the same time.
Now, it was worth a try. However, the worry is that once the flag bearer has been announced, the other principals will lose out in terms of the power sharing. What is the possible power sharing deal likely to look like?
Look, I am not at liberty at this stage now to discuss all that details with you. But the details is going to be so good and Kenyans will appreciate. This will be a moment or a day which will be written in gold in the history of our country. And let's hope this now brings to an end the pseudo-independence we have had for the last 54 years, or 55 years for that matter. So we're expecting the best.
Now, it seems there's been trouble on settling on who the flag bearer will be, and there's been concern that it's taken too long to announce who it is. What do you make of that in terms of what that means and what message that's sending to the electorate?
The weight, the very weight, the sheer weight of the decision itself is so big that it needs all that consultation. And we're not only discussing the flag bearer. The deliberation is on everything, how this country has to be run in the future, in the next 5 years, and possibly much longer than that. So when you take longer and you come up with a very good product, Kenyans will appreciate and Kenyans will all come out to support it. Yes.
Now, there's been concern that the principals seem united at the top. However, it's not necessarily translating to the parties or the constituents. What do you make of that?
Not only will the principals be united, but the whole country will be united. I can assure you that. I'm a member of the National Coordinating Committee, and I've been part of this process right from the beginning. This country will be united more than ever.
And what do you make of some quarters saying that if their chosen candidate is not picked as a flag bearer, that they will actually leave the NASA coalition?
Those narratives were expected initially, because when you're going through a process, which is a process of negotiations and, you know, horse trading and the rest of it, everybody would ask for the top position. But when finally that thing is all settled, then it makes all the difference. Now the principals are united, the coalition is united, and the country will be united.
Now, Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto recently joined the fold. Does his addition complicate the power sharing conversation?
It doesn't complicate. He not only joined just the other day, he has always been with us in heart. So we've always taken into consideration that he's going to come on board at some opportune moment, and he has done that now. And he has always been part of the process.
And the question is, what does he bring to the table?
Well, he brings his position, he brings a constituency himself too. There's no question about that. And you will see it once we go for elections, how big that constituency will be.
And lastly, before I let you go, of course, the speculation that Raila Odinga would be named as the flag bearer. Would he be agreeable if it was not him and back the chosen flag bearer?
Everybody who is there as a principal is agreeable to everybody else. But we have settled on one and a deputy, and that will be announced today. So don't worry about that. Just hold your horse and you'll get the information.
Thank you very much. Speaking to Farah Malim here as we await the five principals, that is Raila Odinga, ODM, Moses Wetangula, Ford Kenya, Kalonzo Musyoka from Wiper, Musalia Mudavadi from Amani and National Congress, and of course the newly joined Isaac Ruto, and waiting to see who will actually lead the charge, who will lead these five principles, and how they will agree on sharing power among the five moving forward, and what the government structure will look like as well. It'll be very interesting. Of course, we're waiting to hear who the flag bearer will be, the running mate, as well as what they're calling now premium cabinet secretaries, who will hold quite a bit of power when it comes to making decisions in government. Should they take power August 8th? The crowd is getting very energetic. Of course, anticipation is rising as they wait for this very big announcement, much anticipated announcement. Of course, those on the other side of the political divide are waiting so they can also strategize and see what they need to do to put their stakes in the ground and ensure that they are indeed ready for the August 8th elections. For now, I'll hand you back to studio to Gladys and Trevor.
Thank you, Victoria Rubadiri, speaking to us from Uhuru Park, where the crowds are energized. They are looking forward to that NASA announcement that has been promised to them. Remember, it had been postponed twice over, but today they made a promise to make sure they give the country their flag bearer come August 8th. And as we continue with that conversation, in studio we have our panelists, and Macharia, you were speaking about the repercussions of the infightings within ODM into the coalition.
Yeah, the infighting ODM has very serious repercussions. We've already seen some signs of it. The fact that some people lost and then they were given certificates. In some instances, you have two people getting the same certificate. It is indicative of the perception that ODM has worked very hard to create, that it is routers, it's unruly, that it has no system, that you cannot trust it. So when somebody loses openly, and then they say, no, I didn't lose, and the machinery says, yeah, no, you did not lose, here's the certificate, it sends a very negative image for the party and for the people running the show. The show we are seeing over there could have been better. It looks kind of lukewarm, in part because of what has happened in the last week. It has disillusioned a lot of people. The fact that they still have to conduct some more primaries on Sunday, and some other times, is not very good for this NASA now, what they are planning to do. It takes away the vibe in the whole thing. Had they completed everything, and now it was just a question of whose name do you give to Chabakuti, because that's what it is. It would have been something else. Now they still have to worry about those things. Whoever does not get it, there will be fallout, a very serious fallout. In my view, the only person who does not seem to worry too much about the fallout is the new entrant into the Pentagon, Isaac Ruto. He's just there to be called the principal, nothing else, because he's adding no value to the whole thing, but it's a good idea to be called a principal. And for the organizers, say, now let's have another one. So they revived the old Pentagon. And if you notice that the old Pentagon had two of the generals that are still there. That's Raila and Musalia. Musalia is happy that they are using his creation called NASA, so he can wait for 2022 as they use them. But the feud is between Raila and Kalonzo. Whoever does not get the top one, there will be repercussions from his supposed followers. We've also noticed serious erosion of power from their supposed background, and that erosion is going to increase, not reduce, to increase. So the outcome of today, added to the shambles in the primaries, will not be very good for NASA's image.
Okay, Mukonje, do you think, to an extent, the postponement of this announcement was based on, let's see how the primaries go, then we can actually come out and state our stand without, upsetting the electorate?
I think if that was the basis, then they had been bold enough to call off today's announcement. But they are determined to go ahead with the announcement on this date. To me, is more of trying to shift the camera lenses away from the dirty linen that is not going on publicly in the primaries, and now put in a fresh, the discourse about the candidate of NASA and how they have been able to, deal with the elephant in the room. But like it or not, I think the primaries are going to have a bearing on the oomph that today's announcement will have going forward, because it's increasingly evident that all these party leaders, particularly the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka, are under siege, and they are hostages in their own political parties. There are those members that feel a sense of entitlement, and we can't afford to mince words when the weakest link in our democratic development has remained political parties. The likes of Raila's senior brother, Uhuru Park, we may not know who actually won, because there have been two announcements. And therefore, it's not just a problem of Uhuru Park and his younger brother Raila Odinga, but it's a systemic problem that you end up without the sanctity of a very key party instrument and document like a provisional certificate. A provisional certificate is akin to a birth notification, in a hospital. So you cannot get a birth notification if you have not had any child, and you have no newborn baby from that hospital. And I think these are systemic issues. And you remember that Paul Otuoma, the fiasco that came out from Busia, and even the exit of Ababu Namwamba, and many other, party officials in ODM, has been around how is the National Elections Board organized, and how are the other organs like the arbitration committees, organized, so that party nominees can get a fair outcome, and each party member can say, yes, this is the credibility of what we did. But that has not happened. And if you want to ascertain that this is weighing down Raila Odinga, just scratch beyond the surface, Prof, and you realize that even in Siaya County Assembly, there are MCS that have been elected on frivolous parties like the National Vision Party that have no absolute presence in Nyanza. at the cost of ODM. And you realize that people are not just, protesting publicly, but they are going ahead and taking action at the ballot. And it's on the honors of Honorable Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka and the other party leaders to take the bull by the horns. Because after all, these are not entirely political parties. We know our political parties' orientation is on charisma of individuals, is on ethnic groupings. So there's nothing wrong in Raila Odinga coming out and saying, hey, this is my house and I want to put it in order, because the voters are going to, the negative impact is going to weigh down on him much more than, the CIA County Assembly having madoa-doa here and there, or someone not getting a ticket here and there. At least he has to come out boldly and say, come on, we failed to give directions as party organs. The buck stops with me as a party leader, and I think this is the route, so that the voter can have a clear mindset that, yes, it is the problem of the party leader and he's favored his brother against our popular will, so that they can either stick with that, live with that position and support him besides that challenge, or say, now, this is, besides this guy being my brother, I think the fair outcome from the grassroots is that Ochanda, won the ticket. And here we have to, and also punish, errant party members and errant appointees in the party that are going ahead. How do you have two certificates, for heaven's sake, for the same race? And there has not been any word from the highest office in that political party. I think it's high time that someone just acted permanently in the interest of Raila Odinga to make sure that he puts his house in order. Otherwise, voter apathy is going to happen. We're going to have challenges convincing people that even when he's chosen as the flag bearer, hopefully at the end of the day, he may not be convincingly telling Kenyans that, yes, I'm a Democrat and I'm a leader who's with ideals, with values, with principles. So I deserve this better than the opponents.
Okay, before we get into the numbers with Trevor in as far as going into the coalition and into the August 8th elections, I hear a lot of housekeeping was not looked into going into this. Semehe, did the coalition or the opposition lose focus on what was within and was so focused on, as they say, kuokoa Kenya, that they forgot that they needed to get their house together before they moved forward?
First of all, it's just to agree with him who's just spoken last, that my colleague panelist, that it's a systemic problem in all our parties, all the political parties we have in this country. And it's most manifest in the larger parties where there's a lot more competition. So it comes out. In the smaller parties, people dish out certificates and things. And because there's not much competition, you don't get to hear it. It doesn't get media attention. So it is systemic. And I don't think that they forgot, in the sense of actually forgetting, that these parties actually forget to take care of their housekeeping arrangements. I think it's deliberate. It is by design that they prefer that it stays that way. All of them, Jubilee, ODM, name it, Wiper, they prefer that it stays that way.
To what end?
Because when there is chaos is when the people are able to impose their will. When there's order, it's a little difficult to impose your will. It's look at what happened in Jubilee on the first day. And by the way, Jubilee in the recent history of this country, Jubilee is still the record holder on the party that held the most shambolic nominations. It's actually not ODM, it's Jubilee, that it had to scrap the whole thing and start. It's a manifestation of what they want to continue happening in these parties. Even when they tell the rest of the ordinary members that you are with us or with the enemy or the opponent, even within the parties, the leaders sound out that thing. The people in the King's Court also sound out that thing, that you are either with us or with the enemies. That's why they label each other, even within the same party. For example, ODM, you'll hear them telling some of their members, you are Jubilee. Or in Jubilee, you'll hear them telling, you heard them tell Tuju the other day, he is here for NASA, and that kind of thing. Intimidating each other and so on. That works for them when there's those chaos. Because they have capacity, they are intelligent, these people. If they want to clean up these parties and build institutions, sustainable political institutions, they can. But if you do that, the institution has power. I mean, look at the political system of South Africa. We could grow to that kind of thing where the institution tells you, we don't want you. These leaders don't want that. You remember them, the ANC recalling Thabo Mbeki. and Zoom has been facing threats just the other day. Our institutions, if they are properly built, political institutions that they ought to be, could grow to that extent. None of these people want that. They prefer they and a few chosen people to be in control. Unfortunately for them, by the way, they don't exercise total control, because then other people below them also take advantage of this chaos, and in their little corners also exercise some certain kinds of control, impose their will in their interest. Sometimes it coincides with the interest of the leaders, sometimes totally not. Just a little interest, parochial interest in different corners of the party. So this is a systemic problem to which the leaders need to address themselves if they resolve that we need to build political institutions.
And Professor Macharia, speaking of control, the trouncing of the big names, Jacoyo Midiwo, Nicholas Gumbo, should that be a red alert to the NASA team that all is not well, even with your own supporters?
I think the leaders or the owners of the parties should take a hard look at the results coming from the voters, whether it's NASA or any other parties. They're having similar problems. The parties have displayed two things: incompetence and mischief. So maybe when they are combined, you then get the mess we had last time. Yeah? And that's a message to the party owners that they need to be a little more careful as to how they go around running the affairs of they've lost control. Now the felling of the so-called giants, I think it's across the board. What it has shown is that the voters are fed up with something, especially those who have been in office for some time and they do not deliver, or they are not seen to deliver. Some of them are very good in Nairobi, but nowhere else. And the people in the voting places, they're wondering what's wrong with you. Some of them make statements which make no sense. And what that means is that the voter is increasingly discerning. And we sometimes make mistakes of assuming that ordinary voters are not thinking. These people are thinking. And because they are thinking, they can tell who is worth it and who is worthless. One of the good things that devolution did is to empower the ordinary person down there to ask serious questions about the person who is there. Counties have received billions of shillings. Billions. And what have they seen? They have seen county officials and MCAs becoming stinking rich overnight. That one they have seen. They have not seen anything where it should count. And these are the ones now asking questions. What happened? Because they were told they know the money came. They know that some of these people are always traveling to some place, and they become very rich. That one they know. But in terms of delivery, it's not there. And so we have a movement going on, a rebellion going on. And so you have all these giants being failed despite the wishes of the leaders. So that's why we are saying that there is erosion of influence by the people at the top. And the ordinary people have taken power. And that because they are taking power because they are thinking and they are asking serious questions. So it is no longer easy to hoodwink people anymore. Because if it was, the people would be getting away with it.
Mkwanja, do you see some level of erosion of influence here? Because I'm about to give you some numbers here. This is from the technical committee. It's a leaked report of crunching numbers 2017, and they have the possible combination of the flag bearer. I'll actually write it down there so that we can discuss those personalities. But is there some level of erosion of influence? But before we do that, let's take a short break in NTV today. We're following several events for you. NASA is expected to make what they say is a big announcement at Uhuru Park. We have Larry Mado and Victoria Rubadiri standing by all there. They'll give us all the latest. The numbers are still trickling in. We're expecting an update from the Jubilee headquarters anytime from now. And of course, our reporters all over the ground will be giving you the latest from the primaries that just happened. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more. Thanks for staying with NTV today. We're getting into the second hour of the analysis, but it started at 6 a.m., so we're doing this all through the broadcast. We have our reporters on the ground giving you the latest. We're following several events for you. NASA's great, what they call a major announcement, is expected any time from now. We expected it about an hour ago. It hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting for that. The Jubilee headquarters is expected to make the first address following the primaries that just concluded yesterday. And the Jubilee nomination results are coming in thick and fast. We'll also be giving you some of the updates as and when we receive them. But for now, let's cross over to Nyeri, where Andrew Chieng is joining us from there. But earlier on, a few minutes ago, Ngunjiri Wambugu, who trounced Esther Murugi, was speaking from there.
Nimefika hapa kwa sababu ya Mungu. I have gotten here because of the grace, because of the mercy, because of the favor of God. I have also gotten here because of the love of my family. My wife is over here, and my daughters were at home. My dad and my mom and my immediate family. My office, Julia Mukuha Kemadhi. My immediate political campaign led by Alice and Charity. And all of you, each one of you, twins. Wana jamaa, hawa, anaitwa twins. Wamefanya mambo. Yes, John, thank you. And I also want to say a special thanks to the party for getting these elections right. We were a bit worried on Friday, but you have proved to us that you can actually get it right. Alafu kufanya siasa kidogo, tumeonyesha wale jamaa wa upinzani, sisi tunaweza fanya siasa, tunaweza shindana, watu washinde, wengine washindwe bila kupigana, ama namna gani? Si ndio? Si tumefanya hivyo. So as we move forward, I know part of the responsibility I have as the Jubilee nominee for Member of Parliament of Nyeri Town will be first and foremost to make sure that the votes that we get, zile kura nimepata 17,000, zile kura Murugi amepata 11,000, zile kura Duncan amepata 7,000, zile kura all my other colleagues wamepata. Kupata hizo kura si kazi kidogo. I want to ensure that those votes and all the other votes that did not come out to vote come out on 8th of August 2017. Of course, I'm going to be asking you to vote for me, Kiti MP, sindio? But most importantly, I'm going to be asking to make sure that every vote in Nyeri Town constituency comes out to vote for Uhuru Kenyatta on 8th of August 2017. Tuko pamoja. And I want to thank you. Today, I extend a warm hand of friendship to Honorable Esther Murugi, wherever she is. We will work with her. I extend a warm hand of friendship to Duncan Maina Mathenge, to Ngatia, to Giga, to Wabade, Kasharu, na minji, sindio? Hii Nyeri ni yetu sisi zote. We all agreed there cannot be one winner, but there will be no losers. All of us are going to work together and make Nyeri great for all of us. Namna gani? Gayamura adime muno, gayamwike wega.
Well, thank you very much. There you see, Trevor, the nominee for those were the provisional results announced, and which made Ngunjiri Wambugu the Jubilee nominee to be the Jubilee nominee for the Nyeri Town constituency in the August polls. But very candid there, thanking his supporters and his team for doing that, but also welcoming his opponents, the people who he beat for the ticket, including the incumbent Esther Murugi and the others, to join together so that they can support the presidential candidate come August during the general elections. Right now, I am at Kigumo Teachers Training College, where the tallying of the results for the Member of Parliament for Tetu constituency and all the other results in the constituency are being just being finalized here by the county returning officer. We are expecting an announcement anytime from now. All the results are here. It's just the crossing of the T's and dotting of the I's that is going on as we announce what each contestant got in all the individual stations. But from what we understand so far, and from going by those who are tabulating the results, we understand that the person leading in for the Jubilee ticket in this constituency for the Member of Parliament is James Gishuhe Mwangi. That means that the incumbent, that is Ndungu Gethenji, is probably in danger of losing the Jubilee ticket and probably not being able to defend his seat on the Jubilee ticket come the general elections in August. Other results, final results that have come in so far, from Madeira constituency, the incumbent, of course, has also lost the Jubilee ticket. That was Paul Weru. He lost to Rigathi Gachagua, that is Nderitu Gachagua's brother. Rigathi Gachagua, 30,000 votes. And then also in the other seats all over the county, from Madeira constituency, Ephraim Maina was leading in term for the Senate ticket, and Priscilla Nyokabi was in rep ticket, which was led by Rahab Mukami, who had also around 30,000 votes in the Jubilee nominations. For governor, we were made to understand that the leader was Dr. Wahome Gakuru, who had about 26,000 votes. The second was the current governor, the incumbent, Samuel Wamadai, 22,000 votes. So we understand that that is the picture all across the country. Of course, at the moment, the final tallies that have been done have only been in those two constituencies, that is Nyeri Town and Madeira. We are still waiting for other results from all the other constituencies here in Tetu, in Kieni, in Mukurweini, so that the final tallying, especially for the county, will be done at a place called Nyeri Technical Institution, where we will be later on, where now they will be tabulating the results for all the other county seats. Right now, we are still just concentrating on the parliamentary seats that are being sorted out at the respective constituency tallying centers, as like this one where I am now, where that is happening. We have been made to understand that from the provisional results that are coming in at the moment, either second or third. For instance, in the race for the governorship of the county, incumbent is second, and the senator who also was aspiring to use the Jubilee ticket to vie for the seat in August is third. They are being led by Dr. Wahome Gakuru, who vied for the seat in 2013, but second to the late Gachagua. For the women representative, we have been made to understand that Priscilla Nyokabi is also second to Rahab Mukami. Even here in the Tetu constituency, from the results that are coming in, we are made to understand that the current member of parliament, that is Ndungu Gethenji, who is also the chairman of the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee, is second to the one I've just mentioned, that is Francis Gishuhi. So it's not a very good day for the incumbents. Remember last night, the first one to concede was Kabando wa Kabando, when he sensed that the results were probably going on the favor of his opponent for the Jubilee ticket. So that is the latest from here in Nyeri County, but we'll be keeping you updated, Trevor, and the rest of the team and the rest of the country with all the developments that are coming from Nyeri.
Andrew Cheng speaking to us from Nyeri County. And of course, earlier on, we're listening in on Ngunjiri Wambogo, who trounced Esther Murugi, the incumbent MP of Nyeri Town, to walk away with that ticket for the Jubilee Party. Now, we cross over now to Murang'a, where we have Kennedy Murithi standing by with the latest from there. We've spoken to him earlier, and he is covering the 7 constituencies that make up Murang'a, and he's getting the results as they come in and relaying them. And earlier on, there were accusations and allegations that there were some ballots that were found with a certain aspirant's face and markings. And now I think he is in a position to give us more details on the same. Kennedy?
Well, those are live pictures. Those are live pictures you're getting from Marago Police Station, where we do understand those papers were gotten from Gokoigo, where there are about 30 papers, and here the police are displaying them just to show what was gotten. And we do understand that one of the people who got these papers, it was a group of people, supporters of Jamle Kamau, and they brought the papers here to the police station. We also do understand that the OCPD has said that we'll be shown these papers, but right now he is at the county tallying center that is in Makoyo area. And Gladys, those pictures, as you can see, they are marked Jamlek Kamau. And Jamlek Kamau maybe might use this opportunity to lodge a complaint at the headquarters, that is the Jubilee headquarters in Nairobi, and say that this was not a fair process. You'll see just from what we've been reporting since morning is that all indications are the incumbent Governor Mwangi wa Iria is in the lead, and those are some of the results that may be announced in the afternoon. We've also gotten an opportunity to talk to the county returning officer, who's told us that it is a matter that they will also investigate before giving the way forward on it. The matter, he says, maybe it might be negligible, but we do expect that we'll also get Jamle Kamau, who will tell us, and maybe he might say that this is one case and there might be other cases that are being investigated. So as of now, those are live pictures you're getting of ballot papers that were gotten from Gekoigo area, and they were brought here to Maragua Police Station. Back to you, Gladys.
Kennedy Morethi speaking to us from Murang'a County and showing to us those ballot papers that were found that were not officially from the Jubilee headquarters, and they have markings of one of the aspirants, and these pictures are coming to us from Maragua Police Stations. Investigations are still underway to ascertain the authenticity of these papers, and definitely we will be bringing you the details of that investigation, and of course to see how that pans out going forward. But for now, we come back to studio where we still have our panel talking about the day's events. And before we go to the NASA coalition announcement, let's talk about, for example, Ngunjiri wa Mbogo trouncing a very loyal Esther Murugi, who is definitely a loyalist when it comes to the party leader, and yet she's been shown the door. So in terms of erosion, as we were speaking earlier on, the electorate is saying something totally different.
Yeah, I think it's yes and no situation in this regard, particularly if we look at the national context and look at what has been going on in Wiper strongholds of Makueni, Kitui and Machakos. The revolt by the Machakos governor forming Maendeleo Chapchap, and the entire, almost all elected members in Kitui County swinging to Jubilee. And the other scenario is in Makueni, and quite a number of, that's why you don't have a lot of heat around Wiper nominations. You realize that a number of elected members actually got direct nominations because they didn't have competitors. And the question here that begs is, do they not have competitors because they are too good, or that people, the elected leaders and other politicians are trying to create a new narrative to the voters that we cannot afford putting all our eggs in one basket all this time. Let us try to spread the risk, and hopefully some go this way and the others go that way in a wild dog fashion of hunting, that you make sure that the prey is surrounded whichever way, and whoever captures it first, then you can all come and scavenge on it. I think that could be a possibility. Then looking at what also is happening in Western, quite a number of MPs and the governor for Bungoma tilting heavily towards Jubilee when this is a perceived, called NASA stronghold. Again, it's indicative that there is an erosion of, a support for key leaders like Wetangula, Kalonzo, Musalia Mudavadi, and the others. At the local level now, there is the aspect of the parliamentarians, and I think this has been something that, very clear with the Jubilee government, the stick and carrot tactic, comparable to the Kanwa approach, where parliamentarians have been sweet-talked into defecting, and that has affected the voters' mindset, that there is a lack of independence, because for you to play these roles effectively as an elected leader, the role of representation, the role of oversight, the role of legislation, and then the new role that the new dispensation has given them, the issue of budgeting, even before you play oversight on those, expenditure decisions. You need an independent mind. And I think that has not been demonstrable clearly with this new the set of leaders that we've had with the Jubilee government. We've seen a lot of hard mentality where politicians take a particular stance, but when someone either at Orange House or when someone at Capitol Hill or someone at State House or someone at the current deputy presidency residence, they overly turn around and you just, a typical case is the security amendment laws, I think of 2015, towards the end of 2015. It tells you, which the court nullified later, it tells you that the vote has a problem, that the independence of the people they are bestowed with the critical responsibilities that I've just mentioned is questionable. And that's why the incumbents like Murugi are winning as much as I have seen the antagonists of my good friend Gujiri Wambugu saying he's a beneficiary of the Raila phobia, in Mount Kenya. And he's honestly, in his campaign, hammered that point time and again to the excitement, perhaps, of his supporters. But you can see clearly that if you put politicians on one side and put the electorate on the other, you realize that the electorate has given up on demanding change from the elected leader to becoming the change that he wants to see in the elected leader. So they haven't done it. Give someone a chance. You are to be independent so that you can be able to represent my interests. You are to be independent so that you can independently oversight, the executive, so that you can take my ideas to the budget-making process at the county and devolution level. You haven't, so let us give someone else an opportunity. So this hard mentality, this blind loyalty is, I think, being punished heavily by the voter. And hopefully, the newcomers will be able to learn from some of these, developments and become more of the latter day, legislator that has a clear responsibility in the constitution, has a clear mandate in the arrangement of our governance structure.
Okay,
Yeah,
now maybe I can throw it to Simehe. When it comes to, you heard Ngunjiri saying, I'm extending an olive branch to all my other competitors. Let's work together and make sure we deliver the same come the August general election. Now, earlier in the week, we were asking the question, what is the DP doing at the headquarters? Is probably this look of let's work together, let's not fight so that we can deliver come August 8th, maybe one of the tactics coming or trickling down from the headquarters?
Maybe not, but that is normally easier said by a victor. I think that the proper measure would be the response from those who have failed, let's say, those who have lost rather. And you remember we were talking earlier about Kafogo and Kabando and so on. I think those are better signals in terms of, is there something permeating through the party suggesting that even if there'll be bitter losses, we shouldn't expect serious fallouts. I think you tell better by looking at, or rather listening to, those who have lost, what they say and their body language. Where they're crying foul and complaining and so on and not responding positively to those kind of gestures, there may be reason to be worried, but there's still time. There's still time for people to heal, for people to be whipped by their leaders into some frenzy, against those other people, whom they must defeat and so on. There's still time for actually both sides to whip their supporters into a frenzy to see that it's important that they stick together and defeat the other side. If I may just add something to what could be shifting, what could be changing, in addition to what we've discussed, there is also a whole crop of younger people who have come of age, of voting age. And I've seen in these nominations a pattern where actually there's, in the past it's always been that it's the older mamas who vote. There's been a lot of young people actually in these nominations coming out to vote, sticking out on queues and waiting for a long time to queue. Where there have been protests, there have been a lot of young people, not just there lining up to receive money, but actually protesting something they don't like and or voting. That could be an indication, part of a factor in this shifts that you are witnessing. Young people who don't really care about you. I think there's a word we keep using, and I was talking about it the day before yesterday, which is loyalty. I think we mistake sycophancy for loyalty, because loyalty is something completely different. There are people who are so sycophantic, and a lot of young people can see through them. There are people who will sing that Uhuru Kenyatta is all this and that. There are people who will sing Raila Odinga is this and that. But there are young people who can see through them and say, you wait, we will meet with you at the ballot box. and forget, we will not buy that sycophancy. I think it is a factor in what has been, in this shift that we are witnessing.
All right, anytime from now, we'll be crossing over to the Jubilee headquarters where we expect the first media briefing from that area. But Professor Macharia, speaking of the electorate growing old and demanding change, but we're also seeing, like, the news that's coming in right now is that David Musila has resigned as the party leader for Wiper and now is going to run as an independent. So these same people who've been trounced still insist on running as an independent. Was that a loophole that is ending up being a curse rather than a blessing?
Well, it's interesting that Musila, who is the chairman of Wiper until a few minutes ago, the chairman. And actually, it's a reflection on what might happen in NASA. See, if Musila is a pillar of Wiper, he loses the primary, and the chairman jumps ship.
Yeah.
Is that likely to be replayed at the NASA level? Might we see some people jumping ship if they don't get it?
You mean Raila jumping ship to run?
Or Kalonzo.
Okay, let's get back. Hold on that thought. Let's get back to that discussion in just a bit. But for now, let's cross over to Uhuru Park where Victoria Rubadiri is standing by with the latest from there. Vicky?
All right, as you can hear behind me, the crowd is getting really rowdy, of course. That is part of the excitement as they await the big announcement on who the flag bearer will be for the NASA coalition. Some party officials and party members have already made their way to Uhuru Park and, of course, waiting for the 5 NASA principals, Raila Odinga, Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Isaac Ruto. A lot of anticipation on who, in fact, will be the front runner when it comes to the August 8th general election. Will also help in terms of strategizing on the way forward, also for those who are in the Jubilee camp, on how they should position themselves when it comes to tackling this NASA coalition. Spoken to some who have attended this rally, and many, of course, are anticipating Raila Odinga to be announced as the flag bearer. Also waiting to hear who will be his running mate, or rather, who will be the running mate, I beg your pardon, and who will also be announced as what they call premier cabinet secretaries. So a lot of anticipation as we wait to hear who indeed it will be. I'd like to invite 2 aspirants in the Chama Cha Mashinani party. That is, of course, led by Isaac Ruto, the Bomet governor. Joining me now is the Nakuru governor aspirant, Dr. Koros. And we also have another aspirant here. Give me your name, sir.
My name is Dr. Mondi Ogada. I'm vying for Nakuru senatorial seat.
And Dr. Koros, you're of course running on the Chama Cha Mashinani ticket. What do you expect your party leader to bring to the table as a NASA principal now?
Victoria, I'm so grateful for this time. And we are so happy to be here. And Chama Cha Mashinani is bringing a fresh blood to the NASA fraternity. And we are so happy that we are joining NASA so that we bring a new dimension of fresh blood into the NASA fraternity, especially on issues of devolution, because you are all aware that our party leader has been known as the father of devolution. And so our coming to NASA is actually to make us to have devolution in its reality in the NASA fraternity, and we hope our coming will re-engineer the NASA fraternity.
Some would wonder why it has taken so long for Governor Ruto to join.
You're right, Victoria. It has taken long, and the reason is basically because he needed to consult with a wide spectrum of stakeholders, because the party does not belong to a person. It belongs to the society, it belongs to the people of Bomet and the Kalenjin community at large. So wide consultations have taken place, and finally, when there was an agreement, we had not to waste any time. We had to join the NASA family.
And what are the sentiments of the people on the ground? Do they support this coalition? Do they support Governor Ruto actually joining as one of the principals?
Oh yes, the support for Ruto is overwhelming, and his role is overwhelming. And his role as one of the major principals and his followers, I am sure by now his ability, his capacity has surpassed that of William Ruto to influence voters in the whole of Rift Valley. Time will tell, but we have already seen the effect.
There's been a lot of speculation on who the flag bearer will be. Names have been thrown out, most especially Raila Odinga. But from your interactions with people on the ground, your voters, your constituents, who do they seem to favor?
Victoria, I think that's a good question. There's been a speculation, as you have said, but on the ground, people know that we have to give to the best candidate. And I think that's why there's been wide consultation. And in our last meeting in Bomas, we had expected we would be given a flag bearer. But we were satisfied when we were told today is the day. And the reason being that we didn't want to leave anything to chance. So that when finally the flag bearer is announced, it is a product of a wide consultation that will actually satisfy large population of the NASA fraternity and the whole Kenya at large. And therefore, we want to leave it so that it is announced there, but you can be sure the flag bearer is a product of a wide consultation of the NASA fraternity based on one, experience, number two, previous elections and election outcome in the past, and I think all that has been taken into account so that we have a conglomerate product of that particular flag bearer.
Some have really wondered whether the unity seen by the principals is translating to that on the ground. Some of the attendees that I spoke to said not necessarily. They're only unified at the top, but they're yet to see whether they can be unified once the flag bearer is actually revealed today.
I think the people who are doubting unity are still in another world. The people, the populace of this country knows that Raila Odinga is an enigma in political field, and he signifies change. And the majority of the people that I speak with or I campaign among, they want Raila Odinga to be the flag bearer. And I believe and I know, since with a calculating mind, all the principals knows this, that Odinga is change and change is Odinga. And if we want to make sure that we drive this country to another level, different from what is going on, because you also realize, Rubadiri, that ufisadi umezidi economy of this country. Ni kama tu maji inazidi unga. You can never have a proper food that you can eat. That's why the other people are busy telling us about wanakula na sisi tunameza mate. Yeah, if they knew what they were doing, they would not be saying that, because and the wananchi knows that the only way that they should have change is to have Honorable Raila Odinga. They knew that in that government of 50-50, the achievements even now that the Uhuru and Ruto are saying, launching everywhere, 3 times in a week, all the parts of the country, it was because of that 50-50, Raila Odinga and Honorable Kibaki. And they know if Raila Odinga can have absolute powers, this country will be marvelous. And that's what the wananchi they are expressing down on the field. And we believe that is what we are celebrating today.
Dr. Koros, you wanted to respond to that? You wanted to respond?
Now, I want to say this, that what you have said as a fear of disunity was a perception. And the reason for that wide consultation over many days was to ensure that there are no cracks in the unity that is there in NASA. And therefore, when the flag bearer is finally proclaimed today, that will even unite the principles more, and by extension will unite the entire country. I want to say this, as Chama Shinane, we have come to support the principles who have been there, and people have been speculating that Governor Ruto might be given to be the flag bearer. He has stated clearly that he has not come to seek position. He wants to see and ensure that this unity ensures that resources are devolved right to the grassroots. And that is the policy behind Chama Shinane. And so there is no disunity. That one is only anticipated, and it is a perception. Otherwise, I see that by coming together, we will unite this country, and we will devolve resources, and resources will have an impact in the lives of wananchi. And so that is it, Victoria. Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll let you go to enjoy the rest of the festivities. Both aspirants with the Chama Cha Mashinani party, of course, led by Governor Isaac Ruto, one of the 5 principals now of NASA. They're saying it's all perception in terms of whether there is unity in the rest of the constituent parties that are now under the umbrella of NASA, and the unity does flow down to the constituents and the electorate. Well, we'll see whether once the flag bearer is indeed announced, that unification or unity is solidified. I'd like to invite one more individual who works with the ODM party in Kisii County. Sir, please give me your name.
I'm Josephat Nyaberi from Kisii. Actually, I left here around 9. I want to witness the flag bearer of NASA. Yeah.
This seems to be very important to you, coming from Kisii County. What is the mood, the general mood among those in terms of the flag bearer they would want?
Actually, most people in Kisii are in NASA. They are waiting for a long time to see the flag bearer. Yeah. But today, I think people are very happy, and people are waiting the flag bearer.
And who, in terms of your interactions with people on the ground, who do you think that they would want?
Actually, because Kisii County is in ODM, so they expect Raila Amolo Odinga to be a flag bearer. Yeah. Yeah.
And if he does not, because of course he has a lot of support there in that part of the country, if he is not named the flag bearer, what does that mean in terms of their support for the entire NASA coalition?
Yes. They will support any of the NASA coalition. Yeah.
And what do you think they need to do differently this year as opposed to 2013? Of course, Raila ran, he lost. What do they need to do differently, at least as a NASA coalition, to be able to clinch the presidency?
Okay, I think NASA has got his own plan and his own structure and his own security. I think this round there's no rigging of votes. We are ready for that. Youths are ready. Everyone is ready. Everybody is watching. Yeah.
And what do you expect a NASA government to do for Kenyans? Beyond the fact that, yes, we have the 5 principals who have unified at the top, they brought different parties together, what do you as a Kenyan expect a NASA government to do?
Kenya expects NASA government to reduce the cost of living. For example, people are not taking tea because of sugar. People are not eating because of the hunger is very high. So people are expecting NASA to change lifestyle of common mwananchi. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And what more do you expect out of this event? Once the flag bearer is announced, what will this do for the NASA coalition and for the activities that are going on the ground in terms of campaigning?
Actually, we are going out to campaign seriously for NASA. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Josephat. All the best. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your festivities. I have another individual here who's ready to join me and talk about what they expect in terms of the flag bearer announcement. You can join me now. He's donning an ODM hat. Sir, give me your name.
My name is Josephat Musoma Mutua. I'm a parliamentary aspirant, Makueni constituency. Yeah.
So what are your expectations for this rally, for the announcement of flag bearer? What will it do in terms of solidifying the position of NASA?
First thing what I would like to say is that today is a great day because the politics of Kenya are being defined today actually. Because it is from here we'll know who is who and how we'll do our planning in terms of strategy, in terms of campaigns, yeah.
And how has the delay affected campaigning, for instance? People have been worried that they've taken too long to announce the flag bearer.
According to me, it has not delayed, as in it has not caused any tension, as in it has consolidated our strongholds. Yeah, because the anxiety is good.
And what are the expectations for constituents from your area? What do they expect in terms of a flag bearer that they would support?
Okay, Kenyan politics, first we must agree it's tribal. So every group is every community is expecting their own. But what I would like to tell them, a president is a president, whether it's from Wiper, whether it's from ODM, whether it is from Chama Cha Mashinani, whether it is from Fort Kenya, yeah.
And is there really unity on the ground among supporters? even though we see the 5 principals coming together. Of course, the newly inducted principal was Isaac Ruto. But is there real unity on the ground from what you have seen from your constituents, for instance?
From my constituents, I was in Makweni on Friday, and what they told me is that they are ready, they pray that their own will be selected. But if it does not happen, they are ready to support whoever. But there is so much expectation for people because everybody is yearning for change. And they are asking whether, they are saying the biggest goal is to send Jubilee government home. The formula does not matter. All they want is to see the Jubilee government, the corrupt regime, home. And we are sending them home.
And speaking of formula, in your view, what would be the ideal setup?
For?
In terms of the formula for the power sharing deal, in terms of the flag bearer, running mate, who for you do you think would be the best?
Okay, east or west? If you cut a tree, it will fall somewhere. If it falls in the north, amen to that. If it is the south, amen to that. If it is the west or the east, amen to that. So as for me, I'm not too much as an aspirant, speaking as a leader. I don't think the person bearing the steering is a bother. What is more important is the systems, because the person himself cannot change the livelihood of people, because people are expecting us to bring them a government that will bring the cost of living down. We cannot just focus on the formula or on the groupings based when you feature that most important goal right now is to make the cost of living affordable, first, fight runaway corruption, second, and also give people a government that belongs to the people, for the people, and that as the face of Kenya. And that's why I'm happy about the entry of my friend, Governor Ruto. Yeah.
And some have really wondered with the inclusion of Isaac Ruto, it complicates the whole conversation of power sharing.
How?
There's one more principle in the equation now.
But they said each principle has 5 first laws. Yeah. The Constitution allows us to have a maximum of 20 cabinet secretaries. So I think they said, because it is a Pentagon, each will have 4. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of our festivities. A lot of reaction from those party members, party officials who are here in Uhuru Park and attendees, some of whom we spoke to a bit earlier on. The anticipation, as you can imagine, is very high as we wait for that all-important announcement of who will be the NASA flag bearer. Let's take a short break here on NTV. Our coverage continues after the break. Meet us right back here at Uhuru Park. I'm Victoria Rubadiri.
17 right here on NTV Today. My name is Gladys Gashanja. My colleague Trevor Ombijo. We continue this broadcast. Remember, we are in different locations, starting with at the Jubilee headquarters, where we are expecting the first briefing of the day. Remember, the Jubilee held their last primaries yesterday, and we'll be getting more details on the same in terms of results and other issues coming up in a few. But for now, we also have our reporters. That is Sharon Baranga, who is still in South B, to be specific, at the Uhuru High School. She'll also be coming to us with the latest from there. And of course, it's the 27th of April. We've been waiting for that NASA flag bearer announcement. Victoria Rubadiri is at the Uhuru Park, where they are waiting on that announcement.
Absolutely. Let's cross over to Jamhuri High School, where Sharon Baranga is standing by. The latest, Sharon?
Okay, we're still at Jamhuri High School, the official tallying center for Starehe constituency, and some of the results have been announced. And right now we are joined by two winners of two wards in Starehe constituency. We have Millicent from Diwani, and we also have Peter from Pangani. Maybe Millicent, you can start by telling us, how do you feel now that you have been announced the winner for Diwani MCA?
I can say I'm very happy for winning this seat again, because I think I was competing against 16 men and they were very powerful. It was not an easy ride, and after what happened, the accident that I went through, losing my friends and people that I really loved so much, it hasn't been that easy, but I'm grateful for the support that my people have given me. I'm grateful for my team and everybody who believed me. I'm happy, and I've learned a lot. And I'm back, and I hope that I'll be able to serve my people with more zeal and more energy. Yes.
So now that you have clinched the Jubilee ticket to run for the MCA seat in Diwani, what is your expectation? Do you think you're going to face an opponent who's going to be stronger than you?
I think my expectations is that people want more. And it's not even about who I'm going to face. It's about the expectations that they expect me to deliver. I'm competing against the expectations. That is the most important thing. Yes, yes.
Okay, we are very sorry for the accident. Maybe you can tell us how you're doing.
I'm trying. I'm actually in crutches. I'm broken practically everywhere. I'm just holding in painkillers. And I'm trying to just move here and there, but it's painful. It's been a sad experience. And I thank God. He's saved my life, and he saved it for a reason, and I won't let him and my people down. Yes.
Thank you so much, Millicent. And now we are joined by Peter, who won the ticket to run for Pangani Ward, the Jubilee ticket to run for Pangani Ward. Peter, you can tell us your expectations.
I'm happy. Kwanza nataka kurudisha shukrani kwa wakaaji wa Pangani kwa kunipatia miaka ingine 5, na I know I have something to do for them, ndio wananichagua, na nataka kuwarudisha asante sana. Yep.
Unaweza tueleza tu on the ground, how was it campaigning for this ticket?
It was tough, but I proved many people, but watu wa Pangani wanasema ni Wahinya na ni Wahinya tena. Yep. Yeah.
Any challenges you encountered?
Yeah, many projects zile sijamaliza, na najua vile wananipatia miaka 5 namaliza the same projects. Yeah.
Unaweza ukatueleza changamoto ambazo ulipitia wakati ulipokuwa una kampeni kupata tiketi hii?
Rumors mingi zilikuwa rumors, wanasema huyu anafanya afanyi, unajua tu raia they need 100%, but najua sasa the 5 years wananipatia, zile 4 years zilikuwa, sasa the 5 years coming namaliza zile projects zilikuwa nimeanza. Yeah.
Asante sana Peter. Okay, congratulations again. Okay. So that was Millicent and Peter from both winners of the Jubilee ticket for both Ziwani and Pangani wards. Right now, they might be announcing the Member of Parliament. So right now, aspirants for the Member of Parliament seat to run for the Jubilee ticket taking their seats. They might be announcing the winner of the ticket anytime soon. I don't know. Okay, so right now they might be announcing the winner of the Jubilee ticket to run for the Member of Parliament. We have Maina Kamanda, who's the incumbent, the current Member of Parliament for this constituency, Starehe. We also have Charles Njagwa, who's hoping to clinch the ticket to run for the same seat on August general election. We had talked earlier to Maina Kamanda, but he said he was only going to address the media after the announcement is made. So we also talked to Charles Njagwa, among the aspirants, also looking forward to clinch the Jubilee certificate for the Member of Parliament seat. And he also said that he was only going to address the media after the announcement is made. And so right now we're just waiting for the officers here to announce who's going to clinch the Member of Parliament seat ticket on Jubilee to run for the seat. Back to you.
Well, Sharon Baranga is speaking to us from Jamhuri High School, where they're expecting results to be released soon. As we get those, we shall be coming back to you. But for now, we go back to the big event of the day.
Absolutely. That's at Uhuru Park, where NASA is expected to make a major announcement, and Victoria Rubadiri is there. Vicky?
Sense the energy, I'm sure, where you are in studio. The crowd is building, so is the anticipation and the excitement for those who are attending. Several party officials and party members have already made their way in, as well as aspirants from the various NASA constituent parties, all waiting to see who will be the flag bearer and the running mate that will further solidify their campaign to the presidency come the August 8th election. We're getting a lot of feedback from those who are part of the constituent parties in NASA, saying that the positions don't really matter for their party leaders, rather the governance. And that is what they're most concerned about. They want to kick out the Jubilee government. So in terms of which party leader takes which position is not a matter of concern for them. Speaking of which, I'd like to invite one of the Wiper Democratic Movement party members joining me now just to get their take in terms of their expectations for the announcement. Thank you for joining me, sir. Your names, please.
My name is Zachary Ochako. I am a ward rep for ward rep for Bomachoge in Magenche.
Let's just have you stand this way, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
My name is Zachary Ochako. I am a Wiper ward rep representative for Magenche ward in Kisii County. And I'm looking forward for big things today. It's a great day when we are going to name our flag bearer for the coalition. And we are grateful for the many Kenyans who have come here, and they are trying to support us morally in everything else.
And speaking of big things, of course, the announcement is flag bearer. We do know that your party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, has been eyeing that position. Should he not get it, will Wiper continue to support the NASA coalition?
We will fully support the NASA coalition simply because we are here for a cause. We are here for change. We want to change the constitution. We want to change the way Kenya is ran. Corruption is rampant in every sector. We want our youth to get employment. We do not want our loans to be misused. We want Kenya to have equal representation in all sectors of the economy. Once again, we want to reiterate that Kenya has been fragmented by the two tribes. We want all tribes to be represented in the national government. Thank you.
Now, you mentioned a change to the constitution. What do you mean by that?
because all the NASA principles cannot be accommodated in the two positions which are there. So we want them to have a stake in the leadership of the country.
And what is the likely power sharing structure going to look like?
Well, I do not want to speculate, but that is going to come in due course. I do not want to speculate because that is for the principals. And when the principals come, they'll give us good tidings. Thank you.
And from your area, what are the sentiments of supporters? Who do they feel will be the best placed individual out of the principals to be the flag bearer for NASA?
Let me proudly say that my president, Kalonzo Stephen Musyoka, is the president for us from my constituency and my ward and the Kisii County as in general.
Now, there was concern when they had announced or given him the certificate to be nominated as the presidential candidate for Wiper and what this meant in terms of his position in NASA.
That is no problem at all. We have no problem. We have no dispute. We are supporting the cause of NASA.
And what are your expectations beyond this? Once the flag bearer has been announced, what is NASA going to do in terms of solidifying their campaign for the presidency and other important seats?
We want first of all to hit on the road and go to the areas which are a stronghold for Jubilee so that we can exploit that mandate that the Jubilee seems to have enjoyed. We want also to solidify the NASA strongholds so that everybody this time votes and votes with the last man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll release you now. Thank you to enjoy the rest of the festivities. There's been a lot of speculation, of course, of who it might be. The 5 principals have been meeting for the last 2 days just to tie up loose ends and to put together a power structure in terms of what the NASA government or the soon-to-be NASA government will look like. So far, we are likely to hear, of course, beyond the flag bearer, running mate, and what they're calling premier cabinet secretaries, but we'll learn a bit later on what those various positions will entail. I'd like to invite one more individual who is also part of the Wiper Democratic Movement to join me and give me his take on his expectations for the announcement today. Sir, thank you for joining me. So what are your expectations out of the event today? And start with your name, please.
My name is Duke Mainga. I'm the youthful MP aspirant from Bomachoge Borabu constituency in Kisii County. So I'm here today to officially get to know who is the flag bearer for the NASA coalition. And I'm looking forward to a very wonderful engagement after today so that we get easy time to concentrate in ensuring that NASA takes over the leadership of this country. Yes.
Has this been hindering the campaign process, the fact that they haven't settled on a flag bearer moving forward?
Yeah, there's some sort of confusion, right? For instance, back at home, when I campaign as a NASA aspirant, right? At the end of the day, we were kind of confused. Is this team going to be united to the end? Are we going again to begin from the drawing table? But I'm so happy today that we are going to finally get who our president is and the right team. It will be so easy for us to penetrate and propel ahead after this.
And that was a concern, the fact that some of the constituent parties were fielding from their own and not coming together as one umbrella body like Jubilee did. Do you think that's frustrating their efforts in terms of clinching certain seats?
No, completely. You know, what's happening? Kenya is a democratic country, right? And the fact that all these parties, the Wiper, NASA, Wiper, ANC, ODM, and the rest, that they are able to bring out their contestants and how we compete on a platform. It's fair for all the Kenyans and all the contestants. This issue of Jubilee amalgamating all the parties, and now, for instance, today, someone contesting in Central and has won a Jubilee ticket is sure of becoming maybe the next leader from that region, which is unfair. Probably there was someone who was far much better compared to this person who might have been rigged in. So I think what NASA did, allowing us to go from the party basis and now voting for the president at the topmost, is the best ever decision that was ever made. Yeah.
And what are your expectations, knowing that your party leader really was looking to clinch the flag bearer position? If he does not, what does that mean in terms of support from your party for the NASA coalition?
Okay, I'm still optimistic. I still feel like Kalonzo is the best. He's going to be my president. Yet we don't know yet who is going to be announced as the flag bearer, but we're still optimistic. From Wiper, we believe that Kalonzo is the best. Kalonzo, if you look at him, you see chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, integrity and leadership. right? So I'm looking forward to see my party leader being announced as the flag bearer at the end of the day. Yes.
Now, beyond that, of course, we'll hear of the flag bearer, but it's about also uniting the constituents who are part of these different parties and ensuring that they are standing behind the NASA coalition and a lot of their ideals. How do you unite the people who are on the ground?
No, currently, what's happening, the party leaders have already signed a memorandum of agreement, right, that we're going to remain united no matter what, right? You know, as they say, as you heard, we are trying to do away with the monopoly of power, right? So everyone is free. NASA is not going to be divided. We are going to remain united. I'm in Wiper. If they're going to tell me Raila Odinga is the flag bearer, I'm going to support Raila Odinga. If they say Mdavadi, I'll support Mdavadi, all right? There's no issue of division after announcing someone who's outside your party. Yeah, and we as young people, personally, you look at me, I'm running for MP in Bomachoge Brabu, and I might be the youngest in this team. I take this opportunity to tell the Kenyan youth that in NASA is the place to be because they've given us room to penetrate through, right? And to also exercise our leadership potentials and skills. So I'm very happy today. I'm so proud of this day, Rubadiri.
Okay, so you're an aspirant, you're a youth leader, you interact a lot with the youth. From your interactions, who do they feel would be the best placed to be the flag bearer for NASA?
Now, from my side, you know, definitely as a Wiper, when I'm back on the ground, I rally for my party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, right? And I have a strong belief in him, right? The young people are waiting for NASA to give them a person they're going to support for presidents. There's no issue at all that it's ODM, it's what? We are now under NASA team, right? Yes. Sure.
Sounds like you're unified enough. Let's see if that yields something for NASA moving forward. Thank you so much. I'll release you now.
Thank you so much.
So indeed, it is very tense. People are wondering what indeed this will mean moving forward for the NASA coalition. But as you hear from many of the party members, they're not at all concerned about who gets which position, but more so getting the Jubilee government out, ensuring that the ideals, the manifesto of the NASA coalition, which we will hear today once the flag bearer is announced, and what they need to do to move forward and ensure that they do in fact clinch the presidency and other important seats later on this year in August. There has been, of course, a lot of speculation on who that might be from various quarters, from those who are on the ground who will actually be voting. It's very important. They're also concerned about unifying those who are on the ground, the electorate who will be voting and buying in to the ideals of the NASA coalition. We'll take you now to listen in to a bit of the festivities going on here at the rally. We'll be back with more to talk about and more expectations of what party members, party leaders and attendees feel this announcement will mean moving forward for NASA.
Victoria Rubadiri speaking to us from Uhuru Park and giving us the look and feel and of course sentiments of those that are attending that particular meeting that most are, of course, we've all been put on notice that today is the day that they will be giving us the presidential flag bearer that is for the NASA coalition. For now, we cross over to Mombasa County and there we have our reporter Peter Mwangangi and he has been covering the Jubilee primaries there from yesterday and those results still trickling in. Mwangangi, what's the latest?
Thank you. We are coming to you live from Patel Samaj Social Hall here in Mombasa. This is the county tallying center for the just concluded Jubilee Party primaries here in Mombasa County. Of course, there had been a little bit of misunderstanding on where the venue would be for this exercise. Some people had gone to the Chuda Day Secondary School, others had come here. But that has been sorted now and people have already settled down. They are waiting for the final announcement here, especially on who won the senator's seat ticket for the Jubilee Party as well as the woman representative's ticket. We also have winners from two constituencies, that is in Vita and Nyali constituencies, as well as in Taita Taveta County. We'll be giving you those results shortly, but I just want to speak quickly to the people who have been organizing this exercise, and I'm now joined by Joseph Murage, who is the Vice Chairperson of the Jubilee Elections Board here in Mombasa, and of course flanked by a few other officials from your board. Tell us, how far is this exercise? We know we have results from Vita and Nyali. How far are the rest?
My name's Joseph Murage.
I'm the Vice Chairperson, Elections Board, Jubilee, Mombasa County. I think things were run well yesterday as planned, although we had a few challenges here and there. One, the materials, we did delivering the materials in the morning because we received the materials late in the morning, but we tried our level best, and I think before 10 a.m. all the polling stations we were set, and things went on until 5 in the evening. But the other challenge was about the register, the party register. We could not find the names of some of our members. So we consulted with our seniors from Nairobi Elections Board office, and they told us the formula that we are supposed to use, that was the voter register, to confirm whether the voter was registered as a member there, and as a voter there, sorry, and also the JP number and those who had the Jubilee membership cards. So that is the formula that we used. I think, to me, the elections were very peaceful. It was free and fair for all.
Because some aspirants, especially those who lost, and I will give the example of Mohammed Salim Elias Tenge for the Mvita parliamentary seat. Yesterday he contested those results. He's saying that some of the aspirants' names were missing from the list register, as well as some of the voters' names. What can you say about such a incident?
I think I engaged Mr. Mohammed, that is Tenge, in the morning. I saw him where he was. The first police station he was in Leonard Gara, and because some of the aspirants, to be very honest, they were ferrying people from other counties or other sub-counties to come and vote for them. But that's why we decided to follow the party register, or if anybody was a registered voter there in the specific polling station. Yes.
So these aspirants who now have complaints, what is the way forward for them?
I think there is a tribunal which will be set after the nominations, but to me, it's always for a user to complain. But like I personally was in Mvita, and what I can say, the elections in Mvita, they were free and fair. Yes.
And just maybe as we conclude, maybe how long do we expect this exercise to go on? Maybe how long do we expect to have the winners for the Mombasa Senator and Woman Representative seats?
The only problem that we had is because of the venue. Jubilee has many supporters here in Mombasa, and the hall that we had hired before was a bit smaller, so we could not accommodate more members. So that's why we have opted to come here to Patel Samaj Hall, because it can take a big number. Yes. So
maybe how long?
Yes.
How long?
In an hour's time.
In an hour's.
Everything is set. Yes.
Thank you so much, Joseph Murage, and of course officials from the Jubilee Party here at Mombasa, assuring us that in an hour's time we'll be having results for those particular seats that we are talking about. I just want to go straight to and tell you about the winners, and I want just to go straight to the Taita Taveta County, where Taita Taveta Member of Parliament Naomi Shaban has just won. Those are results trickling in a few minutes ago. We understand that she garnered 9,751 votes against her rival, that is Mike Banton, who got 5,661 votes. We also have results for the other constituencies, that is Wundanyi constituency. We have Simon Mwachia taking a lead there with 4,337 votes, followed by Elliston Mwasela, who had 1,634 votes. Then in Voi constituency, we have a winner there, that is Dishon Mgoda with 7,091 votes, followed by Boniface Maina, Naomi Ndisha with 1,729 votes. Or rather, Boniface Maina was also a contestant there. He had 905 votes, and also George Mamodo there had 514 votes. And now the focus will be shifting to Mombasa County, where we already have a winner, especially here in Mvita constituency, where we are right now. We got Omar Shalo, that is the contestant for the Member of Parliament seat. He had 1,505 votes, and he will be getting that ticket for the Jubilee Party nominations, followed by Mohamed Salim Tenge with 1,310 votes. And that is the aspirant that we were just talking about with Mr. Joseph Murage from the Jubilee Elections Board, saying that those complaints will be addressed, asking other aspirants who have complaints to forward them to the tribunal and see how that goes out. Then we have Nyali constituency, Ashraf Bayusuf getting the ticket there with 1,404 votes, and then Sanjeev Agarwal with 1,344 votes. And then we have in Jomvu, we have a winner there, that is Karisa Nzai with 2,317 votes, and we'll be bringing you all those other results here in Mombasa. And also, before we go, we have results for 2 constituencies for the women representative seat. The current Mombasa governor, deputy governor rather, Hazel Katana, taking an early lead there with 3,480 votes in Vita and Nyali constituencies, followed by Abdul Salam Kasim with 2,791 votes. That is a difference of about 689 votes, and we'll be watching keenly to see when the rest of the results come, if he will be able to close that gap. And of course, we'll be bringing you all those updates. The officials here assuring us that this exercise will go on peacefully, and of course we'll be waiting closely to see how that plays about. But for now, that is all we have as far as the results are concerned. We'll be bringing you more of those results in the other constituencies, not just here at Mombasa, but in other areas across the coastal region where the exercise was conducted. For now, I hand you back to studio in Nairobi.
Thanks, Peter. That's Peter Mwangangi speaking to us live from Mombasa, and it's just reading a few results that's coming in, and some of the tallying centers at the Nyayo Stadium, where our very own Leila Mohammed is joining us there on phone. Leila, what's the latest?
A very good afternoon from the Nyayo National Stadium, where the tallying center for Nairobi County is underway, tallying for 4 constituencies already there. We are just waiting for official confirmation from John Rotich, the county returning officer for Nairobi County. But we have preliminary results for the Kibra constituency, which show that Margaret Wanjiru has garnered 191 votes, Peter Kenneth with 2,086, Mike Mbuvi Sonko having garnered 5,782 votes. That is in Kibra constituency. In Embakasi South, Margaret Wanjiru getting 78 votes, Peter Kenneth 875 votes, Mike Mbuvi Sonko gathering 2,745. In Langata constituency, Margaret Wanjiru getting 263 votes, Peter Kenneth 243, and Mike Mbuvi Sonko being the leader there with 7,727 votes. In the Greater North constituency, John Kiarie, aka KJ, has been declared the winner with 9,793 votes, beating Dennis Waweru, the incumbent MP, with 9,051 votes. Beatrice Elachi, the nominated senator, is now the incoming ticket holder for the Jubilee Party ticket for the Dagoretti South ticket for the Jubilee Party. When you look at some of the senatorial results for Kibra constituency, we have Kamau William Wahome getting 564 votes, Khaimba Richard Mutinda getting 795 votes, Mushiri Gerald Mudhoni getting 505 votes, Sakaja Johnson garnering 937 votes in that particular constituency. When we look at Embakasi South constituency, those who want to vie for the women representative ticket, we have Rachel Shebesh, who has garnered 1,646 votes, Wangoi B. Nganga having garnered 134 votes. We have Millicent Omanga getting 1,127 votes, Mudhoni Ouko getting 242, Karen Nyamu 360, Mary Mosoko got 53 votes, Rosemary Wairimo getting 75 votes, and Waithera 106. In Kibra constituency, we have Shebesh Rachel with 2,962 votes, Wangoi Biinganga 492 votes, Omanga Millicent 1,540, Mudhoni Ouko 610, Karen Nyamu 1,869, Mary Mosoko has garnered 148 votes, Rosemary Wairimo 192, and Waithera 172 votes. In Dagoretti North constituency, Margaret Wanjiru in the gubernatorial race has been able to gather 439 votes, Peter Kenneth 3,521 votes, Mike Mbuvi Sonko having been the winner here with 8,010 votes, William for the senatorial seat having gotten 561 votes, Mudhamu 708, Havemba 572, Sakaja Johnson 9,349 votes, and Badi Ali 324 votes. For the women representative seat, Mudhoni Ouko has been able to capture 571 votes, Lucy 212, Rosemary got 0 votes, Mary Moroku 176, Rachel Shebesh 6,205, Wangoi Biinganga 621 votes, Nyamu Karen 2,017, and Millicent Omanga was able to get 1,832 votes. So those are just preliminary results from 4 constituencies. We are waiting for the returning officer, John, to be able to give us complete results for those 4 that have come here. It's been a pretty dull and quiet morning here at the Nyayo National Stadium. We understand that in some polling stations, counting is still going on because voting took place until late into the night. We remember yesterday at the Moy Avenue Primary School polling station, there were 3 polling stations in one, and by the time we were leaving there at around 5 p.m., the long queues were still getting longer by the minute. So we only have one contestant who has been able to find herself here, and that will be Beatrice Elachi, the nominated senator for now, but very soon will be pronounced the ticket holder for the Jubilee Party ticket for the Dagoretti South constituency. We'll be in a position to speak to her shortly, but before that we can just recapture what was the mood that was going on in Nairobi County. As I have read to you, the current situation shows that in 4 constituencies, Mike Mbuvi Sonko seems to be leading. Yesterday he was complaining that there are various malpractices going on in the voting process, and he was expressing concerns in terms of whether the process would be free and fair. However, now we are seeing a change in shift, majority of the votes going to him. We saw also Peter Kenneth yesterday coming out clearly and saying that the process had been flawed, and it was expected that he might not be in a position to accept the results as they are coming in. However, things are taking a really slow pace here. We are seeing that the tallying behind me is going on manually. There's a desk behind me where the returning officer is receiving the information, and then it goes to the ladies back there where they have to really count one by one to ensure that the results that were written on the official documentation are actually tallying with the number of papers that they have been given. So this information keeps coming in a very slow pace. Here, as you can see, police officers have restrained only the party officials, the agents, and the aspirants to get into this hall, and everyone else has been kept at bay to ensure that the security of this facility is in a position. Now I am joined by nominated Senator Beatrice Elachi, and up until now you have not been given the official papers, but however, congratulations for what you have been able to achieve this day.
Thank you very much. Yes, I know I haven't been given. I am awaiting. I am hoping the team, the county election board will call us and tell us. I mean, we've been here. I'm hoping they can tell us what is happening, or even if it's any info that we are able to know. But at the same time, I just want to thank God and to say that I want to thank the women and the young people of the Greater North for giving me the opportunity to get the nomination ticket of Jubilee.
How are you feeling now that we know there are some bigwigs within the Jubilee Party that have been clearly flawed? How are you responding to this morning?
I think that is one thing the electorate is really deciding for Kenya, because it's not just on the Jubilee side. I think also in the NASA side you can see, and I just wanted to thank the president. I think he was given maybe the intelligence and understood that the electorate has this feeling that they will want to elect their leaders. For me, the women in Jubilee, and I'm hoping Mama Naomi Shaban, and I know she's going to come back. I think for us is to ask ourselves, some of our women have gone, and we are just hoping, how are we going now to get the 2/3 agenda? Being a strong woman, a leader who have been there for a while than us, after all this, as the women of Jubilee, we'll have to sit down and see how to reorganize and how we are going now to lobby the party leaders to ensure we have more women coming in. I know we have more women, we might get women senators, which will be a plus for us, but I am hoping the party will also stand with us. We have gone through, and I can see also we have the governors. I want to thank Uhuru. I know in Kirinyaga we are going to see a very interesting competition, women dealing with issues. I know the abusive language will not be there. I am happy that they will bring out a different way of doing campaigns. Whether we shall have a man who will decide to come as an independent candidate, in the end I know a woman will be a governor of Kirinyaga. That gives us kudos. We know Joyce Laboso, and Joyce Laboso will be the next governor of Bomet. Yeah, and I know she will do a lot, as how she has done with her constituency, Sotik.
You have been able to win one battle. There's a bigger war coming in August 8th. How prepared are you?
I would say I will maintain my team. That is my prayer, that I can maintain the team we have worked a journey with. But also there are a lot of dynamics in the Greater North. I want to thank my people who are the Luyas. They will decide. I know we are two of us now. There's one in ANC, there's me, and the Luyas will decide. But for me, I'm not going because only the Luyas will decide. I think my biggest agenda is, how do we bring the Greater North to be one? That when we look at each other, we appreciate each other with the strength of that and the diversity of our tribes. All I will want to say is, women in the Greater North, let's go for change. Women, we have no boundaries, we have no tribes. I believe in that. And I hope that we can give that example to many. It will be my wish when I become a member of the Greater North, just to do a few things that in 2-3 years they can see and judge me in whatever small way I'll have done. Yes.
Finally, what word could you give all the women out there who would even dream of becoming a politician sometime in the future?
First of all, you have to believe in yourself. You have to know politics, you must be selfish. Nobody will give it to you on a silver platter. But at the same time, don't run away from political parties. Join political parties, change within the political parties. Push that change in the political parties, you will move to the next level. And it's a process, you learn. You learn as you go down, you learn as you come up. And I think I've learned a lot, from just being a strategist to an SG of a party to a nominated senator. I think I've learned a lot, and it's not an easy game because you are backstabbed. Women, we get lost in coalitions. We get lost when parties are so huge because of the interests that are there. But I thank God that for those who have soldiered in, I am hoping we can get also women MCAs who will be elected. I want to thank God I was able to work with a team, and at least we have 2 now in the Greater North. I am praying to God that they can also in August 8th, if we have a team of women coming in, a few MCAs and me, I know we shall change the coalition of, yes.
How soon are you going to hit the ground running?
I think there are many issues we must also manage within the party, and therefore in the month of May we also need to